The episode starts with Gojo explaining that there's another veil centered underneath that trapped non-sorcerers inside. He starts stepping on people to get to the other side. Gojo states that he has a good idea on what they're after. Mei explains that they will be heading towards a train station. Gojo drops down and says that he sees that they're all fully prepared to Jogo, Hanami, and Choso. Gojo says that they won't have any more excuses left when they lose, using a crow. Mei scans the area. The crow suddenly gets killed. Mei shows a map of the underground station. She says the transfigured humans are attacking the normal people on level B4, and the majority of them are at the train platform on level B5. Itadori asks Mei if Mahito is right there. Mei replies and says her crows got killed right before they could confirm Mahito, Mei, and Itadori split up. Itadori encounters a grasshopper curse eating a man. Itadori asks if Mahito is here. The curse didn't respond, so Itadori starts beating the curse, and he says to the curse that he shouldn't underestimate humans. The curse starts attacking Itadori relentlessly. Itadori admires the curse's jaw and jump. Itadori starts evading all of the curse's attacks and faces the curse. They engage in a punching battle, and the curse thinks he'll win because he has more arms, but Itadori starts beating curse. The curse uses his last trick up his sleeve, but Itadori easily dodges and asks if he's ready to die. The scene switches to Mei and her finished battle. While running, Mei shares that she thought Itadori would have a harder time fighting his enemy. Mei confirms that Itadori is definitely a first-grade sorcerer. Kenjaku asks Jogo if he knows when Satoru is the strongest. Kenjaku says that it's when he's alone. With that in mind, Jogo pushes the non-sorcerers around Satoru to completely surround him. Kenjaku explains that any sorcerer is just a hindrance, let alone non-sorcerers. Jogo starts kill the non-sorcerers. Choso uses his blood manipulation technique. The blood technique bounces off Gojo's infinity, and Gojo is unfazed. Jogo and Hanami throws a punch at Gojo. Kenjaku explains that the minimum output of Gojo's curse technique reversal is double that of his amplification, and it'll be impossible without it affecting the non-sorcerers as well. He says it should prove difficult for him to use blue for high-speed movement, and if the non-sorcerers get hit, it's an instant death. He reads that Gojo will probably focus his energy on defense. Jogo and Hanami uses domain amplification. The punch slowly starts connecting, but Gojo teleports at the last second. The effect of the punch creates a gust of wind in the underground area. Gojo says that it makes sense they're allying with curse users. Gojo explains the domain amplification. He says that it's the same principle as the simple domain, and they envelop themselves with the domain. While it reduces its guaranteed hit effect, it ensures they neutralize any technique used, which means their attacks would hit Gojo. Jogo questions what they should do about Gojo's domain expansion Infinite Void. Kenjaku says that the only ones unaffected by Infinite Void are Gojo himself and anyone he touches. He says if he does have the skill to selectively trap the diaster curses, a great number of non-sorcerers would get crushed. Kenjaku states that there is a 99% chance that he won't use his domain. He says to Jogo that they can't use their domains either, because if they draw a large mass of non-sorcerers into the domain, Gojo will be forced to give up on them and use his domain as well. Kenjaku lastly states that at any rate they just need to get Gojo to focus on defeating the cursed spirits and rescuing non-sorcerers. A girl near Jogo is having a panic attack. Someone gets killed in front of her. Gojo says that he's shocked. Jogo replies by asking if he's making excuses. Gojo says that he's shocked that they ever thought they could beat him. Jogo panics a little bit, and the scene switches that Kenjaku saying that they need to hold him for at least 20 minutes, and after that, it's time for the Prism Realm. Gojo says that they still underestimate him very much, and he states he'll kill Hanami first. Gojo says bring it on, and approaches them. They both tried to punch, but Gojo grabs Yogo's arm and breaks it off. He pushes Hanami back into a wall, and Hanami says that Gojo's earlier declaration was just misdirection. Gojo stops using his limitless technique. Hanami says that he's given up on adjusting his technique. Hanami uses her wood technique, but Gojo jumps on her and breaks her weak spot. Gojo says that they can't use domain amplification and innate techniques at the same time. Jogo says that he only remained safe because he used domain amplification to protect himself. Jogo says Gojo creating this must destruction with basic cursed energy manipulation and hand-to-hand combat. Choso starts killing a bunch of people. Gojo notices that Choso is not a cursed spirit, but an incarnated death painting Wams. Jogo comes from behind, but Gojo easily stops him. Gojo focuses on Hanami and pins her to the wall with sheer cursed energy and kills her. Gojo says that Yogo's next. A scared Jogo runs away throwing non-sorcerers at Gojo. Jogo says to Choso that if he's not going to help he'll kill him. Choso starts killing a bunch of people. Gojo says even the non-sorcerers have been avoiding him. He says that he can't save all the non-sorcerers, but he'll definitely exorcise the cursed spirits. While panicking, Jogo says that it has to be over 20 minutes since they started their fight. Kenjaku says that Gojo's still composed. A train arrives and people are ecstatic, but the transformed humans come out of the train chasing the normal people. Mahito is the last one to get out of the train. Jogo tells Mahito that Hanami dead. Mahito asks Jogo if he's serious. Mahito tries to hit Gojo, but the infinity prevents it. Mahito drops the non-sorcerers from the floor above them. Simultaneously, Mahito and Choso use their abilities and start killing a bunch of people in front of Gojo. Gojo grabs Yogo's arm and breaks it off again. Mahito starts explaining that Gojo is capable of cold logic. He says Gojo probably assumes some degree of sacrifice, but with both the death count and the number of people rising in the area, the scales determining what degree is acceptable can no longer function. Jogo says that what Gojo needs to do right now is to use his infinite void to kill everyone there. To the disaster curse's surprise, Gojo uses his domain expansion infinite void. Everyone in the underground area stops moving. The narrator says that it was a desperate gamble on a domain expansion lasting to tenths of a second, and to tenths of a second was the limit Gojo set purely on instinct. He starts killing the cursed spirits at the speed of light. The narrator says the humans were able to return to society 2 months later. It was said that Gojo roughly slaughtered 1,000 transfigured humans unleashed upon the floor in 299 seconds. Suddenly Gojo notices the Prism Realm in front of him. Kenjaku opened the gate and Gojo tries to run away, but then Kenjaku comes out. Gojo is absolutely shocked and gets a quick flashback. Gojo gets caught by the Prism Realm. Gojo asks who he is and Kenjaku questions what he's talking about and says that he's Getu. Gojo notices that Kenjaku has the same body and cursed energy as Getu. Gojo says that all the information provided by his eyes are telling him that he's Getu, but his soul is rejecting all of that. Kenjaku opens his head and explains that it's his technique. He says he can pass from one body to another by replacing its brain with his brain. He explains that he really wanted to use Getu's curse manipulation and this situation. The episode ends with Mechamaru telling Itadori that there's no time and Gojo has been sealed.